Hello, Dr. Douglas and the class. So this is my presentation for the final evaluation for the Green Revolution's elective program. So it's quick introduction. My name is Owen Tester, and I'm from the city of Fort McMurray, Alberta. This is a city in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, located in northern Alberta. It borders the Northwest Territories and to the east, Saskatchewan. Wood Buffalo is Canada's largest municipality, but has a small population of only 72,368 people. That's by Stats Canada. The municipality is renowned for being the location of the Athabasca oil sands deposit. Fort McMurray is home to most of the workers, their families, and they're employed working and supporting one of the many plants under Suncor and Syncrude, which makes majority of the Canadian gas companies that we use to fill up our cars. Just wanted to show you guys this picture I have from Google Maps, just the size of the town to the size of the oil sands. So in yellow is the whole Athabasca oil sands, and in the red is just an outline of the town itself. So just a quick rundown on quick history. So the oil sands deposits takes up 1,041,000 square kilometers of boreal forest. That's a star from the National Park Service. It was discovered by early fur traders in Rupert's Land who went all around the Northwest Territories there. And in 1778, a Northwest Trading Company was established. Fort McMurray was finally incorporated as a town not until 1947. In 1958, companies started extracting the raw bitumen from the oil sands. 1964, Syncrude, which is Petro-Canada, started operations, and Suncor began its operations in 1979, which is the other large plant up there. And then in 2016, very famously evacuated around 90,000 residents. That's including a bunch of fly in and fly out people. I have two pictures that I took. One I took was from a burnt trees from the neighborhood of Avicenne, which is kind of to the west of town, which was one of the first neighborhoods to get hit and one of the hardest hit neighborhoods. I also have a picture I took overhead of one of the many rivers that comes to Fort McMurray, and this is a picture I took landing at YMM Airport. So Fort McMurray is situated as a hub for the oil sands industry. So, for instance, Suncor base plants is 25 kilometers north of Fort McMurray, and the main gates of Syncrude are about 36 kilometers north of Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray attracts workers from all over the world to work in mining and raw bitumen. The municipality has worked hard to improve its rough image and establish itself as a community with a strong commitment to welcome families and put down roots. Fort McMurray is a young demographic that is attracted to jobs with potential high wages. Fort McMurray has a world-class recreation center, extensive public parks and trails, housing diversity, culture, and a proximity to a provincial park. The municipality has attracted some performers such as Aerosmith, Bryan Adams, Carrie Underwood. So the community isn't just a fly in, fly out. They can attract some concerts, and every fall the riverfront will welcome a Rib Fest, which just started happening, and a winter play to celebrate the very winter city as it does start to snow, usually in early September there. Fort McMurray strives to promote the community as a place to live, not just a place to work at the oil sands. Suncor Syncrude are very good for hosting community events, and they're well organized family day, and where people are actually allowed into the site for free, and they're allowed to see where their parents work or where their friends work. So it was quite cool as a kid to get the chance to go up there. So this is Gregory Lake Provincial Park. It's one of the few lakes where the Athabasca flows into, making it really cold, but it was a super fun spot for swimming in the summer and camping. And then I have the pleasure of introducing you guys to McDonald Island, Suncor Community Leisure Center, one of the largest rec centers in North America, and one of the largest in Canada. Has an Olympic-sized swimming pool. I got the pleasure to work here for 3 years during high school and early days in college. So for the impact, Fort McMurray is home to many people who work on the site. So these companies that operate in the oil sands need a large amount of engineering, trades, heavy truck operators, mechanics, so very tough jobs, but they also rely on health professionals, recruiters, safety specialists, environmentalists, biologists, and even firefighters. So there's a whole range of people. So it's like a city within a city here. There's many more work skilled trades there. In addition, They operate with a lot of off-work camps and homes for shift workers who fly in and fly out. So I don't actually have any pictures from the mining site, but as you can see, I have some of the Suncor base plant. As you can see, the dirt and the digging, taking an impact on the environment. You can see the smoke, of course, especially in the winter. I want to share Syncrude base plant in the winter. This is a picture I took from my dad's truck. You can get closer to Syncrude. You actually can't get into Suncor, so it's just cool to say. Uh, when I visited Suncor, they as a high school student, they were really known in 2010 for opening the Wapasu Lookout, which this was a major milestone that set the bar for demonstrating that land can be reclaimed. So Suncor actually says that they've reclaimed about 15% of the land. They've distributed through reclamation products. Wapasu Lookout was one of the first. I don't have a picture of it, but it was part of the Suncor site. It was one of the very first tailings ponds from the early 60s. But through this collaboration of Suncor and Syncrude to return the land to the natural habitat, they can improve the boreal forest ecosystem by creating these wetlands from old tailings operations and old mining pits. So the issue that several people have with the oil sands is their beliefs in that the mining operations are very terrible and they're irreplaceable to the land and the air and the habitats. Activists believe that all waterways are polluted, even though these sites take real precautions in not allowing their water to drain into local waterways and spill noxious gas into atmospheres. Despite protests, there has been success stories of Suncor and Syncrude to mitigate the mining impacts that they have. Syncrude site we like to visit was the reclaimed habitat that is home to the wood bison. They're released into Wood Buffalo National Park, which is just north of the Fort McMurray and the oil sands. Once they're deemed ready to go, so they're taken. These wood bison are collected from southern Alberta and they're returned up here to where their natural homeland is, northern Alberta. They're raised at the Syncrude reclaimed site and then they're released back into the wild once they're ready. Syncrude states they've been able to grow a herd of about 300 wood bison, so they're a severely endangered species in North America. Oil companies and nonprofit organizations such as Wood Buffalo Environmental Association, they continue to monitor the air quality to prevent any hard breathing, especially on the communities nearby. They make sure they're accountable to their commitment to the environment. Suncor has also been responsible for ensuring that they are planting a record 9 million seedlings in their base plant area, and they're continuing on to this. They've been doing this since about 2009 into 2021 as that stat came from Suncor's website. So when people really ask me about Fort McMurray and the oil sands, I just want people to understand that it's a mining town with lots to offer on a national stage. It's a key contributor to Canada's wealth oil supply. Oil is an essential resource, whether we really like it or not. I wanted to share this picture of Suncor Energy's main gate. So when you drive up to it, Syncrude you can see from the road, Suncor you can't, but they want you to proceed through this gate, which really reminds me of kind of like a border security that checkpoint that we go through, like at Sarnia, Windsor, to get in. So I have some examples of activism of that have happened in Fort McMurray about the oil sands. So I have one example where Greenpeace and other environmentalist groups have protested in Fort McMurray and at the gates of Syncrude and Suncor. In 2009, I remember this happening, 23 Greenpeace activists from the USA entered Syncrude's base plant undetected through the Athabasca River and actually got in and they were in danger and they just shut the plant down and they were all arrested. Then if we remember that Leo DiCaprio film before the flood, he actually films up in the Athabasca oil sand. So he visited Fort McMurray while working on this documentary, the one we covered in class. And funny enough, I chose this as my discussion starter, but he really shows the ugly side of what the oil sands does to the environment and doesn't really talk much about the reclamation. So another famous story would be Jane Fonda. She really made headlines in Fort McMurray in 2017. She's always been an outspoken critic of the oil and gas industry. And she told that she felt physically ill. She told CBC this, that when she flew over the oil sands. However, she decided to have lunch in a downtown Moxie's restaurant, which I know was kind of on actually a rougher end of town. As she left the restaurant, she was harassed in the parking lot by random Fort McMurray people who were telling her, get out of our town and all this. So I remember that being a big deal. And then also Hollywood film director James Cameron came up to Fort McMurray and then accused the provincial government and federal government not having enough regulation on oil companies. But Cameron was always a notoriously outspoken activist. As was Neil Young, he drove up in an electric car to protest the oil sands, but he was always a disliked figure in Fort McMurray for his hatred towards the plants up there. So I have a video. The picture I'm sharing here is the main government and municipal buildings of Fort McMurray. They're the tallest buildings in Fort McMurray because Fort McMurray is roughly around the same size as Sault Ste. Marie for any Ontario people to reference. So, in conclusion, oil and gas is a crucial sector to the Canadian employment and the economy. Major companies like Syncrude Suncor have made strides to become more environmentally friendly and right the wrongs of their decades of little care or remorse for the damage that they have caused. You know, they have quite a large ecological footprint. They're trying to shrink that, and they are responsible for greenhouse gases. They're doing things to lower that too, like planting seedlings, protecting the wood bison in their natural habitat that they've kind of been displaced of, bringing back reclaimed wetlands. Fort McMurray is home to diverse people, and they conduct their careers here. It's a really is a great city with lots of development, lots of new things. They really are now, I believe, a community that's different than in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They now provide a really good sense of community, and you go there to live, not just to work now. So thank you guys all for listening. Here is my reference page if you want to take a look at any of them or read about Jane Fonda getting assaulted in a Northern Alberta parking lot. And have a good rest of the semester, you guys.